The boxing ring wasn't ready for this knockout confession. Claressa Shields, the self-proclaimed GWOAT of women's boxing, just shook the culture with a shocking public admission claiming none other than Papoose as her baby's father. And while the internet went into a frenzy, one person wasn't laughing: Remy Ma. What started as a jaw-dropping revelation quickly spiraled into a storm of fury, betrayal, and chaos that nobody saw coming. The internet has seen its fair share of wild confessions, shocking scandals, and celebrity drama that shakes the culture. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared fans for what Claressa Shields just dropped on the world. Known as the GWOAT, the greatest woman of all time in boxing, Claressa has always been larger than life in and out of the ring. But when she stepped forward and claimed in front of cameras and the entire world that none other than Papoose is her baby daddy, it sent shockwaves across music, sports, and social media like an earthquake. The crowd was stunned. Pap's name wasn't just trending, it was exploding. Memes, headlines, reaction videos, everyone trying to process what had just been said. How could the respected king of loyalty, Remy Ma's ride-or-die husband for decades, suddenly be linked to such a scandal? And why would Claressa, a woman with her own shining legacy, drop a bomb like that without warning? Let's rewind. Claressa has always had a flair for drama. She's outspoken, fiery, and never backs down from a fight inside the ring or outside of it. Her career has been defined by her refusal to stay silent, by her willingness to stand tall even when the entire world is watching. But this time, this wasn't just about boxing. This was about Papoose, the moment unfolded during a live Q&A event. Claressa, relaxed but full of energy, was answering fan questions when someone asked about her personal life. Laughing at first, she leaned into the mic and said words that made the room freeze. "Look, I'm done hiding it. Pap is my baby daddy. Y'all can stop guessing." The silence lasted only a second before chaos erupted. Phones shot into the air, people screamed, and within minutes, clips were flooding social media. The phrase "Pap is my baby daddy" was replayed over and over like a broken record, with fans dissecting every angle of her face, her tone, and the reaction of the audience. And then came the explosion online. Twitter timelines lit up. Wait, did Claressa just say Papoose is her baby daddy? Another tweet went viral. This can't be real. Remy Ma is gonna flip her wig over this? Memes of Remy's famous angry expressions from love and hip-hop flooded Instagram, while TikTok users reenacted Claressa's shocking confession with dramatic flair. But it wasn't just jokes and memes. The shock carried real weight. For years, Papoose has been celebrated as one of the rare examples of loyalty in hip-hop, while other rappers' names were tied to scandals, cheating rumors, and betrayals. Pap stood tall as Remy's rock, the man who held her down while she was in prison, the man who supported her career, the man who always called her his queen. To suddenly hear Claressa attach his name to her personal drama felt like an attack on that entire narrative. And if fans were shocked, imagine how Remy Ma felt. According to sources close to the couple, Remy was blindsided. The clip of Claressa's statement reached her phone within minutes, and the reaction wasn't calm. Insiders claimed she exploded, slamming doors, pacing the room, and demanding answers from Pap immediately. For a woman who has built her image around strength, fearlessness, and dominance, being humiliated in public like this cut deep. Remy Ma's response didn't come right away on social media, but those who know her best said she wasn't going to let this slide. For years, she's fought against being disrespected, whether in music battles or personal life. Now, she was facing what felt like a betrayal, not just from a fellow woman in the spotlight, but from her own household being dragged into the mess. Fans started speculating immediately. Was Claressa serious, or was this some kind of stunt? Could she be joking, trolling, or trying to get attention? Or was there really more to the story? Theories spread like wildfire. Some fans argued that Claressa might have been exaggerating, using baby daddy in a loose, playful way. Others were convinced that her tone was too bold to be a joke. She said it with her chest, one fan commented under the viral clip. "That didn't sound like no joke to me." Meanwhile, Pap found himself in the hot seat. For years, he's kept a reputation as a man who avoids unnecessary scandal. But now, his silence was deafening. Instead of immediately shutting down the claim, Pap stayed quiet. No tweets, no posts, no live video to deny what Claressa said. And in this era of social media, silence is the same as guilt in many people's eyes. Commentators jumped in. Blogs plastered headlines like, "Claressa drops baby daddy bomb," "Papoose caught in the crossfire." Podcasters debated whether Pap had a secret relationship or child nobody knew about. Even mainstream outlets started covering the story, framing it as a celebrity confession shaking two industries. And through it all, Remy's name trended just as hard as Pap's and Claressa's, because the world knows. Remy isn't the type to sit back quietly. She's fierce, loyal, and when crossed, she's explosive. The internet began waiting, almost salivating. For her official clapback, behind the scenes, insiders painted a dramatic picture. Remy allegedly confronted Papoose directly, demanding answers. Was there any truth to Claressa's words? Why hadn't Pap immediately denied it? Why was their household being humiliated in front of millions? Pap, according to these whispers, stood firm in denial, but the damage was already done. Claressa, meanwhile, doubled down. She reposted fan edits of her confession, laughing along with the chaos. In one Instagram story, she even wrote, "I said what I said" to her supporters. This was Claressa being her fearless self, refusing to backtrack or apologize. To her critics, it was a calculated move to stir drama and grab headlines. But no matter how you viewed it, the reality was clear. Claressa's words had set fire to one of hip-hop's most respected marriages. And Remy Ma wasn't about to let it slide. The streets of social media were buzzing. Friends were picking sides, and the internet was waiting for the inevitable collision. Because if Claressa thought she could drop a bomb like that and walk away untouched, she was gravely mistaken. Remy Ma was preparing to flip out, and when Remy goes to war, it's never quiet. The world didn't have to wait long for the next explosion. If Claressa thought she could casually drop a bomb like "Papoose is my baby daddy," and the story would fade into the internet's 24-hour cycle, she underestimated the storm brewing behind the scenes. Because Remy Ma wasn't the type to sit in silence while her name and her marriage was dragged through the mud within days. Remy made her move, and when she spoke, she did it with fire. It started with a cryptic Instagram post. A black background, white text. The message was short but powerful. "You can play with the internet, but you don't play with my family." The post racked up hundreds of thousands of likes in minutes. Fans flooded the comments with support. "Tell Remy." And she's about to set it off. Others braced themselves, knowing this was just the calm before the storm. And then Remy went live. Claressa's shadowboxing clip with the caption, "Remy Ma versus Claressa Shields." Fans say the beef is heating up. Hot 97 ran a segment titled, "Remy Ma responds to Claressa's Papoose claims. War of words escalates." Everywhere you looked, the narrative was blowing up bigger. And what about Papoose? Still silent. That silence only made things messier, with Claressa taunting, Remy defending, and Pap refusing to say a word. Fans were left to speculate. Was he hiding something? Was his loyalty being tested? Or was he simply choosing to stay out of the crossfire, letting the women battle it out? But Pap's reputation made that silence heavy. For years, he's been hailed as hip-hop's most loyal husband. He was the one who waited while Remy did her bid. He was the one who wrote heartfelt verses about staying true. He was the one who went viral for being the exact opposite of what the stereotype of a rapper's husband looked like. To see his name entangled in this chaos felt like a betrayal of the very image he built. Even fans who believed Pap's innocence begged him to speak. "Pap, just say something, bro. Clear this up." One fan commented under his old posts. Another wrote, "We believe in you, but the silence ain't helping." Behind closed doors, whispers said Remy had already demanded answers. According to one insider, the conversation between the couple was explosive. She pressed him. She needed to hear it straight from him that Claressa was lying. And Pap gave it to her. He denied it all. But the damage? It was already done. Remy's rage wasn't just about whether Claressa was telling the truth. It was about her name being dragged, her loyalty being tested in front of millions, her marriage being turned into gossip fodder. That was the humiliation she couldn't stand. Claressa, meanwhile, seemed to be thriving in the chaos. Every clip she posted, every smirk she flashed, only poured more gasoline on the fire. To her critics, she was being reckless and disrespectful. To her fans, she was exposing the truth no one wanted to face. Either way, she was at the center of the storm, and she loved it. But here's where things got dangerous. The feud wasn't just online anymore. Rumors started swirling that Remy and Claressa could cross paths at an upcoming celebrity boxing event. Promoters, sensing the money-making potential, allegedly reached out with offers. Imagine the headlines: Remy Ma versus Claressa Shields, rap versus boxing showdown. It sounded insane, but fans ate it up. Twitter went crazy with fantasy matchups. Some fans joked, Claressa might beat Remy in the ring, but Remy will win in the streets. Others warned, this ain't the type of beef you sell tickets for. This is real life. Someone's gonna get hurt. And through it all, Papoose still hadn't said a word by now. The story wasn't just a scandal, it was a cultural event. Claressa's bold confession had spiraled into a full-on war. Remy was furious, Pap was cornered, and the internet was eating up every second. But the real question was still hanging in the air. Was Claressa telling the truth? Or was this all just a dangerous game of clout chasing? The world waited for the next move, knowing the feud was far from over. And if the past was any indication, the next chapter would be even louder, even messier, and even more unforgettable. Because if Remy was furious now, just wait until she came face to face with a woman who dared to put her marriage in the spotlight. The drama had already reached fever pitch. Claressa's bold confession had ignited a cultural firestorm. Remy Ma had clapped back with pure Bronx energy, and Papoose's silence hung heavy over the entire situation. But every story like this has a turning point, the moment when words aren't enough. When emotions spill over and when reputations are put on the line. And that's exactly where this saga was headed, because the streets and the internet wanted answers for days. Fans demanded clarity. Was Claressa really exposing a hidden truth? Or was she playing a dangerous game for clout? Was Remy truly furious behind the scenes? Or was she using this to show the world her marriage was untouchable? And most importantly, where did Papoose stand? Finally, Pap broke his silence. It wasn't a flashy live, it wasn't a cryptic post. Instead, Papoose released a heartfelt statement through his Instagram page. Over a picture of him and Remy holding hands, he wrote, "I stand by my wife always. The internet loves drama, But the truth doesn't need theatrics. I have never disrespected my marriage. I have never crossed that line. And I will continue to protect my family at all costs, period. The post racked up 1 million likes in under an hour. Fans flooded the comments. That's the Pap we know. Loyalty ain't dead. Respect. We believe you, King. But not everyone was convinced. Critics pointed out that while Pap defended his marriage, he didn't explicitly address Claressa's claim. That tiny detail kept the rumor mill spinning. Claressa, of course, wasn't ready to let Pap's statement end the conversation. She fired back with a slick tweet. Funny how folks scream loyalty, but can't look the truth in the face. If I'm lying, why y'all so bothered? The tweet went viral instantly, reigniting the feud. This wasn't just about one statement anymore. This was about image, pride, and credibility. Pap and Remy had built their legacy on being hip-hop's power couple. Unshakable, unbreakable, untouchable. Claressa, meanwhile, had built hers on fearlessness, speaking her truth and refusing to bow down to pressure. Their worlds had collided and neither side was willing to back down. Then came the bombshell moment that turned everything upside down. During a boxing press conference, Claressa was asked about the controversy. The room went quiet as reporters leaned in, waiting to see if she'd walk back her claim. Instead, she looked straight at the cameras and said, "I don't regret saying what I said. The truth is the truth. People can hate me, people can call me names, but at the end of the day, I know what I know." Gasps filled the room. Reporters immediately pushed back. "Are you saying you had a child with Papoose?" Claressa smirked, refusing to give a direct yes or no. "I'm saying what I already said," she replied before walking off stage. That clip went viral within minutes. Headlines blared, Claressa Shields doubles down, refuses to deny Papoose claim. The internet went nuclear again. Some fans screamed, "She's trolling." Others insisted she wouldn't risk her career like this if it wasn't true. Meanwhile, Remy Ma's fury only grew. Close sources claimed she was ready to confront Claressa face to face. The whispers about a potential in-person showdown became louder, especially as both women were rumored to attend the same star-studded New York event in the coming weeks. The internet prepared for chaos. Memes of Remy pulling up on Claressa flooded Twitter. One fan wrote, "If these two run into each other, that's not a red carpet. That's a war zone." Another said, "Forget Mayweather versus Pacquiao. The real fight is Remy versus Claressa." But just as the world braced for an inevitable clash, something unexpected happened. Instead of Remy and Claressa squaring off in person, Papoose stepped back into the spotlight, this time in an interview. Sitting down with a well-known hip-hop podcast, Pap finally addressed the scandal head-on. Looking directly into the camera, he said, "I'm gonna say this once. I have one queen. Her name is Remy Ma. Anything outside of that is noise. I will not entertain lies. I will not let clout chasing damage my family. That's all. Damage my family. That's all." The host pressed him, "So you're denying Claressa's claim 100%? Pap's response was sharp. 1,000%. It's false. End of story. That moment became the turning point. Fans rallied around Pap and Remy, praising their united front. Hashtags like #BlackLoveWins and #Team Remy and Pap started trending, with supporters celebrating them as an unshakable couple once again. But Claressa wasn't done. She fired off one last jab on social media. "Y'all can believe fairy tales if you want. I sleep just fine at night knowing the truth." And just like that, the feud reached a standstill. Not resolved, but simmering. For some fans, Claressa's refusal to fully back down left room for doubt. For others, Papoose's emphatic denial closed the case. But one thing was undeniable. The scandal had etched itself into the culture. It wasn't just a messy headline. It was a moment where hip-hop and sports collided in the ugliest, loudest way possible. Looking back, this feud said more than just he said. She said. It showed how fragile public trust can be. It reminded everyone how quickly legacies can be challenged. And it proved that even the strongest couples, the most unshakable reputations, aren't immune to chaos when the internet gets involved. As for Claressa and Remy, the tension between them is far from over. Maybe they'll cross paths one day and squash it. Maybe it'll blow up again with another headline. But for now, the culture has moved them into opposite corners, one celebrated for her loyalty, the other feared for her boldness. And as for Papoose, he remains standing in the middle, loyal to his queen, yet forever tied to the scandal that tried to shake their throne. Because in the end, Claressa's shocking confession did more than break the internet. It left scars on reputations, on relationships, and on the culture itself. And whether those scars fade or deepen depends on what happens next. One thing's for sure. The world will be watching. What a roller coaster. From Claressa Shields dropping a bombshell confession that shook the culture, to Remy Ma clapping back with pure Bronx fire. And finally, Papoose breaking his silence to stand by his queen. This saga had everything: loyalty, betrayal, drama, and a whole lot of unanswered questions. But now, it's your turn to weigh in. Do you believe Claressa really told the truth about Papoose being her baby daddy? Or do you stand with Remy and Pap, believing this was just a reckless stunt for clout? One thing's for sure, the internet may calm down. These scars on reputations won't fade anytime soon. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you on in this explosive feud? Team Claressa, the fearless truth-teller who refuses to back down? Or Team Remy and Pap, the hip-hop power couple fighting to protect their love and legacy? And if you thought this drama was wild, trust me, it's only the beginning. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next jaw-dropping twist. Because in this world, the tea never stops spilling.